Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another 2021 NFL mock draft coming at you with these weekly. Originally recorded this before the national championship game. Unfortunately, 26 minutes of just me and then my screen that I'm sharing was black. So thank you, Zoom. But I'm on a different computer, so I'm sorry. I know there's ads, and you can see majority of the players, majority of the picks. Obviously, you have the picks up top here, but it'll only be having one pick at a time on the left, just because it's a kind of worse computer. But it is what it is. Done on my Mac, just because it whenever I screen share it's black. But that's besides the point. If you guys do enjoy mock draft content, make sure to subscribe. Helps out a lot. And yeah, let's get into the draft. So obviously, pick number one, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's not waste our time, even with Urban Meyers there. They will go Trevor Lawrence, a generational talent from Clemson, someone who will come in and immediately fill a need, and is a transcending quarterback for this Clemson team, someone who can win you games. So I think it's a pretty easy pick for this Jaguars team, franchise quarterback for the next decade, and they'll go with Trevor Lawrence. So now, obviously, after this, the sorry, what am I saying? What am I trying to say? Sorry. After the national championship, there have obviously been some moves. It just took my pick. Thank God that was the pick I was going for. But I have the Jets going with Penei Sewell from Oregon, someone who's incredibly talented in the second level, someone who is a very, very, very good pass blocker. Lateral movements very good. His arm strength is good. I think I personally right now am a player who believes in players when nobody does, and right now, Darnold. And it's kind of Darnold. It's tough. Him and Daniel Jones is tough. I don't know whether two or two not. But I feel like, and a lot of people have brought me and put in my mind that, like, if you give him talent, we haven't seen Darnold with a good offensive line or a lot of talent around him. So I'm a believer in give them that, and then they can be a good quarterback. So I think they'll go with Penei, so we'll put him on the other side of Mekhi Becton. I think that's their guy. Going on to the Dolphins pick, I think they pair up Tua Tagovailoa with his college teammate in Devonta Smith, the Heisman winner, someone who's now ranked at 3. Finally, they respect his talent. I don't know if you're watching a national championship game. This guy is one of the best receivers I've ever seen in college football. He had 215 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. He had more yards than Ohio State overall in the first half. He's so good. I unfortunately didn't get to watch the half of the third quarter and the fourth, so I'm not sure what he ended with. I'm sure it was amazing. Devonta Smith route running. He's a true wide receiver one if I've ever seen one. That's what the Dolphins need right now. Devonta Parker getting older. Preston Smith is okay, but I feel like right now the Dolphins need dynamic players on offense. Again, if they trade for Deshaun Watson, this pick will definitely not be theirs. It's not that it might not be theirs; it will 100% not be theirs. So I think it depends on what they're thinking, but obviously we can't predict the future. So I think they go with Devonta Smith here. On to the Falcons pick, and now Jalen Waddle is ranked number 4. I don't think they'll go with him here. I have them going with quarterback out of Ohio State, Justin Fields. Someone who I still think, and something I've learned is that the best stage in which he performs is under pressure. Obviously, played incredibly in that Clemson game when no one was expecting Alabama to win. So I think if you're the Falcons, you're looking at Matt Ryan. He's older. Obviously, that team was not good this year. You have the number 4 overall pick, so that will tell you what you need to know. So if I am this team, I probably would go with quarterback, build the future. You probably sit behind Matt Ryan. I think it'll be one of the situations Matt Ryan, if he doesn't perform, they put in Justin Fields halfway through the season, and they have their guy. The Bengals pick. Now, they are obviously upset that the Jets have gone Penei Sewell. It's very likely that they won't go Penei Sewell and go quarterback. Obviously, it really does depend on what the Jets are looking for. If the Bengals do not have this pick, I think that they address the defensive side of the ball and go Patrick Surtain. I've seen when people have Penei Sewell going off the board, they have them going Jamar Chase, obviously because AJ Green's getting not that healthy. But I feel like having 3 really talented and young receivers isn't always the best idea. That just because, like, development wise, I feel like you need to have 2 is very good. And if you have 3, but an older one that's mentoring them, then that's good. That's, I feel, what AJ Green is doing. But I think you address defense here. The Bengals defense was not great. And we saw what they could do at their full potential is, they played very well against the Steelers. So I think they go with Patrick Surtain here. The best coverage cornerback cornerback in the draft. And I think he'll fit in there great, be that true cornerback one for them. On to the Eagles pick. Now, this is again one of those moments where if Micah Parsons actually fell a lot. This is one of those things where Micah Parsons, Jamar Chase are on the board. So it's like, do they adjust offense or do they go defense? I think right now with a young quarterback who needs to develop, you go with one of the most lethal wide receivers in college football. I think he went for 2,000 yards last year and, over 15 touchdowns. He was incredible in 2019 to the 2019-2020 season. Obviously opted out this year, is why his draft stock has fallen. And I'm sure if he was playing this year, he would still be that wide receiver one. Obviously, there's no more Joe Burrow in LSU, but we saw he was the wide receiver one last year. He had Joe Burrow. It was a massive reason why Joe Burrow was drafted so high because he had so many weapons. And the wide receiver two there was Justin Jefferson, who had 1,400 yards this season and had like 7 touchdowns. So Jamar Chase potential to be better than Justin Jefferson. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on him just because they haven't seen him play in a year. And I think Jamar Chase, you get him in the offseason, get him some OTAs for this Eagles team, he can be very, very good. Again, like Devon Smith, that wide receiver one that this Eagles team needs, and the wide receiver one that Dolphins team needed in Devon Smith. On our Lions pick, this one I feel like is a tougher one. I'm just looking at my draft right here. People are saying quarterback, you go Zach Wilson. I haven't seen a lot of people do that, but I think that they will go with just an aggressive blitzing linebacker in Micah Parsons. So talented out of Penn State. Someone who's big, very good in blitzing situations and kind of move him around the field. This might be a not very popular opinion. I feel like he's an Isaiah Simmons type linebacker, someone who's aggressive. He's very fast. You can move him around. I feel like he's not as good in coverage as Isaiah Simmons is, but I feel like Micah Parsons fixes that with his blitzing. If you watch some of his tape, he's just very, very good in blitzing situations. He's fast and can get by offensive lineman very quickly. So I think the Lions address defense here. I'm a believer in Matt Stafford. I think he's very good. I feel like people hate on him for no reason. So I don't think they address quarterback here. I can see them also going Jalen Waddle just because Kenny Golladay is a free agent, but we'll see. Into our Panthers pick, and I'm going to keep making Panthers fans mad. Personally, I think Kyle Pitts would be a great pick here. I really like Kyle Pitts. I think he's a mismatch everywhere, but I don't think that's realistic. I don't think they will. So I'm going to have them go Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, just like Micah Parsons. He's incredibly athletic. Someone who immediately steps onto the field and will be a playmaker for this Panthers team. Obviously, Derek Brown has not worked out as well as they thought he would. The big defensive tackle from Auburn, which they took, was it 5th overall last? That might be wrong. Can't completely remember the draft order from last year, but I think Koramoah, if you saw him play against Alabama, he's huge. So very, very tall. So I think that they will go with him here. Onto our Broncos pick. Again, there is quarterback needs. I think Drew Lock, it depends really which one you get during the season. I think they can get a consistent Drew Lock who's accurate and can build Jerry Jeudy and can build KJ Hamler and obviously Noah Fant. They have a young team. Obviously, they have a good offensive line with Bowles leading them, someone who was stolen from the Pro Bowl this year. So I think that they will go address defense. Obviously, AJ Boye has been injured and hasn't really been great. I think they'll go with their true cornerback one after losing obviously Aqib Talib. Who else they've lost, and obviously Chris Harris. So I feel like they're going to build their future there and go with Caleb Farley. I know a lot of people are talking about Kwity Paye or Gregory Rousseau because of the Von Miller situation, but I feel like you literally don't have a good cornerback right now. I think you pair Farley up with Ojemudia, the 3rd round pick, and I think that becomes a very, very good back secondary. Yeah, so let's get on to our Cowboys pick. Now we're getting into double-digit picks at number 10. And someone who I feel like has been trending up, at least in the edge rush situation, someone who's ranked right now as the best edge rusher in college, which is Kwity Paye. Someone who's explosive on the edge, can get to the linebacker, and is a movable player. I think Kwity Paye is great. He's long. From Michigan, we've seen a lot what he can do this season. I think he fits well in this Cowboys system. You put him on the other side of DeMarcus Lawrence, and he becomes, that guy for them again for the future. So I think Kwity Paye is their guy here, and I think again he's a player who can step in and immediately be effective. Now the Giants, I feel like would have liked to see Kwity Paye fall, but in my opinion, I think that they will go. Let me scroll down. Sorry, technical difficulties right here. Wow, he really has fallen. Where is he? Wow, Rousseau has fallen a lot. I don't think that changed. I think that they will go with Greg Rousseau out of Miami. Another player who's actually risen, Jalen Phillips from Miami. That's will be interesting to see where he goes. But I think they go with Greg Rousseau out of Miami, someone who has so much raw talent. That's why I feel like a lot of people are staying away from him just because he's a bit raw. But I feel like if you coach him right, he can be the top 10 pass rusher in the league, top 5 in the future. He's very good. I think you add him again to this Giants defense, which I feel like I know it's Devonta Smith. I know there's Jalen Waddle there. Maybe get Daniel Jones wide receiver 1. I feel like there's free agents. Maybe they go with Godwin or Allen Robinson. I just feel like Rousseau, you can't really pass up on here. Very, very talented edge rusher. He's got a lot of sacks from the inside, so I feel like moving him outside. Need to make sure he can get sacks from out there. And I feel like the Giants could this pick is up in the air because who knows, Devonta Smith could fall or Jamar Chase could fall. So we'll see what happens there. Onto our 49ers pick. Sorry, I have my picks right here. That's why I'm looking over. Our 49ers pick, I have them going with, where is he? Another player who's actually fallen a little bit. Where is he? He's fallen to 25. J.C. Horn, the cornerback from South Carolina. I think the reason I really do like J.C. Horn is he's just so aggressive and so physical, which I guess is good and bad. But if you can, contain it, you can become one of the best, really good cornerbacks. A very good example of that is Jalen Ramsey, a big, aggressive cornerback, and he's one of the best in the league, if not the best cornerback in the league. So I think they go. Obviously, they don't have a lot of cornerback re-signing in 2021. Richard Sherman's announced that he will. Obviously, you can't definite it, but Richard Sherman, I'm pretty sure, is leaving. I think it's almost definite. So I think they go with J.C. Horn here. On to our not Jaguars. The Chargers pick. Now, I would love to see this. Obviously, I'm a Giants fan, so I want them to get the best player possible. But if Jalen Waddle falls here, which right now where he's ranked, I probably won't happen. But Jalen Waddle to the Chargers would be a dream situation for Justin Herbert, for Keenan Allen, for this offense. I mean, that's scary. That's one of the best offenses in the league, assuming Jalen Waddle stays healthy. Jalen Waddle on one side, Jalen Waddle in the slot, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler out of the backfield. That's very, very not Kalen Balaj. Kalen Balaj out of the backfield, and this is just a very, very scary team. I think that makes the most sense right now for them. I'm just gonna move myself up here. I think that just makes sense for them right now. So I think that they will go with that for the Chargers, add some weapons, and give Herbert the players he needs. On to the Vikings pick, where I have them going with. I feel like people have a lot of people have falling the undersized tackle in Rashawn Slater. I feel like right now, besides Penei Sewell, I think he's the technically gifted tackle in the league, someone who was able to block Chase Young last year. We obviously see how Chase Young is playing out for this Washington team. Very, very good defensive player of the year candidate. I think Rashawn Slater is listed as 6'4" here. It's either 6'3" or 6'4", which isn't huge for an offensive tackle compared to Penei Sewell 6'6", Cosme 6'7", Liam Eichenberg 6'6". So size does matter as a tackle, but if you're technically gifted, he has lateral quickness, then you become a very good offensive tackle. I think that's what the Vikings need right now. Someone I think Rashawn Slater can move around. Obviously, Ezra Cleveland, who's been playing guard now, and I feel like it gives them some ability to move players around on that offensive line. On to our Patriots pick. Obviously, I'm talking about the Vikings pick. Darisaw is ranked at 8, so maybe they go with him now. I just woke up, so I basically am just seeing these new rankings. But going on to the Patriots pick, I have them going with quarterback Zach Wilson, so we did not clickbait you on the thumbnail. I have them going with quarterback Zach Wilson, who could potentially go number 2 to the Jets. Very, very talented quarterback, someone who's risky, very, very quick playmaking, very good deep ball. I think that the Patriots need a new quarterback. If anything, I think Cam coming back is really up in the air. I don't think people really know if he'll be back, if he won't be. So I think that they will go with Zach Wilson here. And let's get into the 16th pick with the Cardinals. And I think that they will go with, why not, the steal of the draft like Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, someone who's going to fall. And the question I want to ask you there, the question is, can anyone guard Kyle Pitts one-on-one as a tight end who's 6'6"? No. Kyle Pitts is a mismatch anywhere. He's like a Darren Waller type player. just someone who's a mismatch all across the field. Relieve some pressure off DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, Larry Fitzgerald, I think, is leaving. I've seen people already post that he's retired or retiring. I haven't heard any definite news. So that they lose a receiving threat there. And I think if you plug in Kyle Pitts, this Arizona Cardinals team become great. Kyler Murray, someone who struggled at the end of the season. I think you just give him some more receiving options. Onto our Raiders pick. And I think this may take me a tiny bit. Someone who actually was injured um, in the national championship, Wyatt Davis. I'm not sure what happened with him, but I think they will go with Wyatt Davis. I still think the best inside offensive lineman in the class. I don't know why they have him ranked, obviously below Elijah Vera Tucker, but I think Wyatt Davis is very good technically on the inside, laterally very strong. Someone, obviously was blocking Christian Barmore, who's a potential first-round talent from Alabama, the defensive tackle. And again, I think it's just about protecting Derek Carr. So I think Wyatt Davis will fit into our Dolphins pick and back-to-back inside offensive linemen. I think that they go with Elijah Vera Tucker from USC. Again, first or second best inside offensive lineman in the class, someone who has the ability to play tackle, which I think is useful for this Dolphins team. Obviously, it does cause some problems just because this Dolphins now have very young offensive line. They will have Robert Hunt, then they will have Jackson on the tackle, and then either Elijah Vera Tucker at the other side or on the inside. But I still think he fits incredibly, and I really like the pick here for Elijah Vera Tucker. If obviously, as I said on their third pick, if they trade for Deshaun Watson, this will most likely not be their pick. But I think I'm a believer in Tua. Get him some protection. Onto our Washington football team pick. And no, I do not have him going with Trey Lance. I believe in Heineke, and hate me, but I think they go get some help for Terry McLaurin. I think it's like a Devontae Adams situation in Washington, where they just have kind of one receiver who gets all of the throws and targets. So I think they relieve some of that pressure for Terry McLaurin and go with Rashad Bateman, someone who has potential to be the best wide receiver in this class, Justin Jefferson like guy, where he might be like all these teams passed up on him, and then he becomes the offensive rookie of the year. Someone who stand out is route running, and then one-on-one contested catches, very, very talented at that. And I feel like if Heineke, you decide he's going to be your guy, you need to give him the everything he needs to be successful. Obviously, they have Logan Thomas, who's been playing great. And then they have now Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick. So I think this Washington team can be scary. Obviously, I obviously not put bias into this because I'm a Giants fan, but I think this Washington team becomes scary. On to our Bears pick, where I think they're so happy and relieved that Trey Lance did not go off the board. But I think that they go with the 11th ranked player in Trey Lance, this will be considered a fall for him. Somewhere in North Dakota State compared to Lamar Jackson. He's fast. He's very, very good out of the pocket and has good deep ball. Obviously, I don't believe in Trubisky, so I think that they need to address quarterback, and I think they will if Trey Lance falls. Going on to our 21st player, someone who keeps trending up, and I am going with Mac Jones out of Alabama, national championship winner, someone who won I'm not sure what the award was, someone who won the award for best quarterback in the league, or sorry, not the league, I'm always thinking about best quarterback in college football. I think they need to go quarterback here. Phillip Rivers, obviously, I think he knows, and I think his organization knows he's obviously not the future, and probably won't be back next year. And if he is, I think they sit Mac Jones behind him. Oh, no, sorry, he signed a one-year deal. So I think they put Mac Jones there, someone who is very good in the pocket. He's not really someone who rushes, and with the best offensive line in the league, that fits perfectly. You give him threats with Michael Pittman, who should be better in his second year, T.Y. Hilton, who will hopefully play well, as he was started off very slow, and I think this team becomes very good. On to our next pick, where I have the Tennessee Titans. And this pick, and obviously I know some of you are probably mad that Darisaw is continuing to fall, but don't worry, he will be taken. I think that they go with Terrace Marshall here. And I think A.J. Brown's been struggling with injury, and I feel like if he for some reason get injured, they don't really have anyone. Obviously, Corey Davis is a free agent, and I feel like makes sense to let him go. You draft Terrace Marshall, will be a fraction of the price. someone who's very good in contact. He's 6'3", and I feel like AJ Brown's your deep threat, and then Terrace Marshall's your red zone threat, and I feel like that's your future AJ Brown and Terrace Marshall. I think they could build off each other, and then you put Humphreys and the slot, and then you have obviously Jonnu Smith, Berkser. I think it's very good. Obviously, they could address offensive line. They could go Darisaw here, pair him with Taylor Lewan. I think that would be scary. Obviously, Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league, make him better. But nevertheless, I think that they will go with Terrace Marshall here. On to our Jets' second first-round pick. And the more that I kind of think about it, I think I'm going to have them go, and I'm switching this pick. I didn't have this. If he falls here, I think it makes sense to go with Christian Darrisaw. Now, okay, I just completely forgot I drafted Penei Sewell. Sorry about that. So no, they do not go with Christian Darrisaw. I clicked the wrong thing. I have them it fits perfectly because I had the Steelers going with Darrisaw, so I'll just flip the picks around. I have the Jets going with Najee Harris. So just pretend like Najee Harris went to the Jets and Darrisaw went to the Steelers. So we'll talk about the Jets first. I think Najee Harris is someone they could probably get in the second round, but I feel like they won't be risking, obviously, after two very good playoff performances with Alabama. He is a Derrick Henry descendant, not descendant because they're not from the same family, but from Alabama. Najee Harris is a big guy, can take hits and is very elusive and very fast and has very good footwork. So I feel like the Jets get their running back for the future. Obviously, the Michael Piron's there. I just don't think he's the future. And again, if you have Penei Sewell and if you have Mekhi Becton, running in between the tackles should be a gift for Najee Harris. Now, the Steelers pick, which is Darrisaw, I think they're so happy that he fell. Obviously, the Steelers have not been the best. They went 1-5 to end the season after having an 11-0 start. Ben Roethlisberger, as I've talked about, is not the answer, but I feel like Trask right here has been falling, and I'm not a big fan of Trask. So I feel like either go free agency, maybe they go Trask here, but I feel like if Darrisaw falls, I think you move on from Villanueva. Darrisaw 6'6", 6'7", so he's your big tackle of the future. Now going on to the Jaguars pick, where I have them going with Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan. Again, I feel like you draft Trevor Lawrence, you got to protect him. Jalen Mayfield fits. Onto the Browns pick, Zavin Collins out of Tulsa. Someone who was a 4-year quarterback, 4-year linebacker in college. Only scholarship was from Tulsa. And I feel like he's just a very aggressive sideline linebacker, someone who's physical. And I feel there's a trend of linebackers. They're all very physical in this class, someone like Nick Bolton as well, and Moses from Alabama. So the Browns address defense here, which I think is lacking more than their offense. The Buccaneers pick. Now, this one is a up in the air one. Do they go defense? Some people are saying running back. I don't think that makes sense. I don't know why wide receiver is their third need. Because Godwin's leaving or may leave. But I think that they will go with Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame. We've obviously seen how Notre Dame offensive linemen have panned out in the league. Prime example, Quentin Nelson, the best offensive lineman in the league on the Colts. I think Liam Eichenberg is a big guy. Again, he's 6'6", and I feel like you put him on the other side of Wirfs with Ali Marpet on the interior, and that could be one of the best offensive lines in the league. You get Rojo going, you get Leonard Fournette going. Protect Tom Brady, which if anything is better when he's given more time. I think any quarterback is. So I feel like Liam Eichenberg out of Notre Dame is the pick here. On to our Ravens pick. I think that personally, I would love to see Rashad Bateman go here. Obviously, he hasn't fallen here. So I have the Ravens going with an unlikely option in Kadarius Toney, someone who's obviously risen in the draft board. I think Kadarius Toney's really good after the catch. He's 5'11", and I feel like obviously Lamar Jackson needs someone who can go up and catch the ball. So either Terrace Marshall or Rashad Bateman would be ideal here, and I could see Terrace Marshall falling. So I feel like it depends, but I think they need to go wide receiver here. Kadarius Toney obviously is 5'11", very good after the catch, someone who's fast, and I feel like just give Lamar more options to throw to. J.K. Dobbins, who's broken onto the scene, will be their guy next year in the backfield. So I think it fits for what it is. On to the Saints pick, and here I feel like this is a tough one because This is definitely a tough one, but I'm actually going to not go Trask, who I originally had them going. I think they go Chris Olave from Ohio State. Like Kadarius Toney, somebody who's very good after the catch, and he's kind of a speed guy like Jalen Waddle. And I feel like you put him next to Michael Thomas. Obviously, I know Drew Brees is probably not re-signing, but I feel like it's just it's hard to explain. I just feel like Olave kind of fits more, and I feel like Trask is probably now a second round, third round talent. So I feel like, and Deshaun Watson has obviously been trade rumors there. So I feel like Olave fits more right now. Going on to the 30th pick, the Bills. This one, obviously, cornerback and linebacker are a problem. Darion Kendrick is here. So I think that's what they will do. Again, I'm kind of switching on my picks. I originally didn't have this, but I think Darion Kendrick will be the pick there. Someone who I feel is very, very good. He was exposed, and I feel like it's kind of a trend now that Clemson cornerbacks getting exposed in the playoffs. Obviously, AJ Terrell in the national championship. But I still think Darion Kendrick's a good cover guy, and I think he has his best playing days ahead of him. So I feel like the Bills get another cornerback on the side, Tre'Davious White with Levi Wallace as well, and then they're two very, very good safeties. I think that defense becomes better. In our next pick, we have the Packers. Obviously, wide receiver is a huge need, and there is really none of the great ones on the board. But I'm going to have them going with Rondale Moore from Purdue, someone who I think, again, is a speedy guy. And I feel like they don't need a huge receiver. Terrace Marshall originally has fallen here. But Devontae Adams is kind of their do-it-all receiver, and I feel like Rondale Moore can be that second outlet for Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he just relieves pressure off the two. With Aaron Jones in the backfield, I think Rondale Moore fits perfectly there as their speed downfield guy. And on to the last pick of the draft, the 32nd pick, going to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is again a tougher pick, but I have them going with where is he? Someone who's fallen actually. Samuel Cosmi out of wait one second. Sorry. Samuel Cosmi. Well, let me scroll down real quick. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay, sorry. Samuel Cosmi is 6'7", offensive tackle, and that obviously will round out our draft. Crappy computer, so it's lagging. But I feel like Samuel Cosmi is just, protect Patrick Mahomes. I feel like something people have really been talking about. And this Chiefs offensive line, if anything, is one of their weaker parts of their team. And I think Cosmi goes in and fits there. But that was it for our 2021 updated mock draft. If you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. If you made it to the end, congrats. I don't know how you did it. But thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot. And hopefully we're hoping to get monetized soon. We're hoping to get some more content out to you guys soon. We will have our divisional predictions out tomorrow. We usually would have them out today, which is Tuesday, but it was just, we had some stuff. Obviously, scheduling didn't work for all of us. So we have a video with all four of us on, on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy as well, subscribe and comment your predictions. And I know I'm going to have some Panthers fans that are upset in the comments. I can already hear them. We'll see you in our next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.